£3,000 for UK students starting in September 2012, double the figure for 2011. The Push University Guide said average annual debts had risen more than inflation to nearly up by £6,000. It predicts the average debt on leaving university for students is now around £26,000. So what if the thought of all that debt is putting you off higher education and you simply can't afford to go to university? Well, let's talk now to Jason Borg. Thanks for coming in this evening, Jason. It's a big question these days, isn't it? Is it actually worth going to university? And if not, what are the alternatives?
That's exactly the point. And the big question that many young people will ask themselves is, all right, even if I complete my degree, will it get me a job? That's the main concern today. So it's all about pathway to employment, and that's what the alternatives do. The alternatives being apprenticeships, sponsored degrees, distance learning, foundation degrees, diplomas, gap year and voluntary schemes. There's a wide variety out there on notgoingtouni.co.uk.
Okay, so you're mentioning quite a lot of education there. So you're not saying don't go down the education route. You might not have to just go to university to do that. There are alternatives.
There are alternatives, and in fact, some of the sponsored degree routes do allow you to go to university.
That's where you work for an employer and they sponsor you to go to university
and
part-time.
you get valuable work experience,
Okay.
so it's still very vocational.
Now, it used to be that families would be very proud to send their children to university. So there's a bit of a stigma attached to saying, well, actually, my kids aren't going to go.
That's true. What I say to people is, once you can get over the inferiority complex, then you can start looking at all the alternatives. And if anything, the raise in tuition fees next year has helped that debate accelerate.
Now, we might see, in that case, the first generation in families of kids not going to university. The reverse used to be true, didn't it? Are you encouraging that, or are you saying, are you trying to discourage people going to university? What's your line?
No, we're not anti-university. It very much depends on what you want to do, what career path you want to take. What we're saying to people is, in some cases, university isn't the route, and have a look at all the information out there, because it allows you to be much more well-informed for your own future.
And of course, with higher unemployment for younger people, the temptation would have been to go to university to weather out the slow economic storm. That's not the case. People are really going to have to hunt hard for jobs, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. I really do feel sorry for the young people of today, because they do want to go to university, but the anticipation of the tuition fees going up. So now they're turning to employment, and there are lots of apprenticeships out there, and they are growing. I think there are going to be 10,000 more that the government have put funding into. So hopefully that will only expand and give them more opportunities to get into employment.
Okay, Jason Borg from the website notgoingtouni.co.uk.